All right, and welcome to High Street Legends. I'm your host, Jay Blackwell, alongside Isaac Ferebee and our very, very always special co-host, Darwin Cook. Cook, how we doing today, my good brother?
I could be better. The Mountaineers, I could be better after that Mountaineers loss, but I still got hope.
Mr. Ferebee, my awesome co-host. How you feeling?
Another day in paradise, but yeah, I feel like how I feel, like specifically leaving Saturday, but we're gonna get into it, and that's why this is so special.
You know, it's funny. I was feeling great Saturday. I was feeling good Sunday.
We talked on the phone. We
talked on the phone, and then today I started to feel a little bit under the weather, and I was like, you know what? I just knew it was a residual effect from that bullshit ass loss that we had on Saturday. So let's just go ahead and dive right into it, fellas. Our opening thoughts, just raw opening thoughts.
Cook. I know you got a lot to say.
You got it, bro.
I was going to say, can I go first? I know you got a lot to say.
I got a lot to say.
I'm gonna take the easy route. And although I may be wrong, it's fucking Penn State. It's Penn State. I'm gonna be real. I think the only difference in, I guess you can say last year and this year, we came into this, season a little more galvanized. We rallied behind the goatee. Neil made us goddamn believe. All right. Neil made us believe. I'm not saying I don't believe anymore, but I'm just saying I've never seen someone rally a fan base over off-season. No, Jay. I'm gonna give it to you.
Bullshit.
Just let me finish.
You cutting me deep. I ain't gonna lie, you cutting me deep.
I've never
going deep in his bag.
I've never seen someone galvanize a fan base to be so prepared to be so let down. I haven't seen, we expected to get our teeth kicked in last.
No, Isaac.
Expected that. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this.
No, this is what you're forgetting.
I didn't expect this.
It has been, and correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, it's been about 4 years since we've had a meaningful game, right? This what happened on Saturday was some Dana Holgerson shit that used to happen all the time towards the end of his tenure. I knew exactly, and the feeling looked all too familiar when we got the fumble and then fumbled it right back.
And fumbled again. What the fuck?
I know exactly. I've seen this story.
It was written on the wall.
The sequel's always worse. Isn't that what Colin's been saying? The sequel's always worse? Bro, we saw the sequel. We knew this story.
To be fair,
after that first fumble.
Jay, to be fair, this is one of those moments where it's just like I said, we talked before the game. Let's not sit here and act like we didn't list all the goddamn reasons why this was going to be, why this was going to work. Let's not do that. So let's not sit here and act like we didn't list all the reasons why we all picked WU to win. Let's not act like it. But this is my point. As much as okay, it was Penn State. Neil Brown did not show up. Garrett Green did not show up. The boys didn't show up.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Show up. And we looked like fools.
And Cook, I know you want to speak, but I'm not gonna lie to you, fellas. I'm putting the loss more on Garrett Green and the offensive line than I am on Neil Brown.
But I wasn't overwhelmed by the defensive line of Penn State.
But at the same time, we would have been up in arms if on 4th and 1, Neil Brown was passing the ball. So let's not sit here and act like he could have gotten shotgun 3-5 wides and we would have been cool with it. We wouldn't have. We would have been like, why didn't we line up and give the ball to C.J. Donaldson? Which he repeatedly did. I'm mad at Garrett Green for not pulling the ball.
For not being Garrett Green. No, let's just call don't. The whole game, Garrett Green was not Garrett Green. Call it for what it was.
So if I'm being completely honest with you, Neil Brown, people are mad he didn't take the points. We're playing 8th-ranked Penn State, and I think he knew.
No, you got to go out and win.
I'm not that mad at Neil. I'm more mad at Neil or at Garrett and that line, and defensively, the stubbornness to just stick in the zone as often and as long as we did was just ridiculous. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I think y'all hit everything on the head. So I do feel that it's a Neil Brown offensive line and Jared Green issue. The reason why we lost, bro, you can say a lot. We just wasn't ready to play. We wasn't ready for the moment. You can tell and Traylon Ray, the receiver, in kickoff return, when they had the camera in his face, you could tell he just seemed like he didn't want to be there. He wasn't hyped. He didn't seem like he wanted to make a play. And just all through the game, he never got excited. Last year, we used to see him get excited after every play. It's like, what happened there? CJ Donaldson, you 6'2", 6'3", 240 pounds. You can't get 1 yard? You get what I'm saying? You tippy-toeing through the line. The touchdown you got, I don't believe was a touchdown.
No, they gave us that. They
gave us that.
They wanted this game to be a game so bad.
Yeah.
They gave us
one of the 4th and 1s that they reviewed too. They gave us that. They gave us that. That's why I can't. I'm laughing at every WVU, sympathizer that's sitting there saying, "Oh, well, it was offensive pass interference at the." It was, but they gave us 2 calls, huge calls. Like they gave us major calls. Like, if anything, the officiating with how bad it was evened out at some point because they gave us those calls. Like, make it make sense. Like,
couple things to point to that stands out. Garrett Green, 53% completion percentage for on Saturday, 161 yards passing, 0 touchdowns, no interceptions as well. Jaheim White, 8 carries, 33 yards. Obviously, he got hurt, but before he got hurt, he was averaging 4 yards a carry. How much did that impact things? And looking at the stats as well, West Virginia is showing, I've got 4 drops here. So we look at just what the game plan was offensively. They clearly wanted to have a balanced approach, and it slipped away. We did even get a chance to see Nico 0 for 1 and 1 pick. So it was a pretty uninspiring football from the Mountaineers. Albany is up next this Saturday. I'm pretty sure that's not worth our time to pick.
But Jay, I'm nervous. I'm not saying we lose this game. I'm not saying we lose this game. But Jay, what if this is only like, we win by a touchdown? We win by what are you saying then?
The only reason why I'm going to entertain what you just said is because Idaho took Oregon to the brink.
That's exactly why I'm saying.
That is the only, literally
the only reason I'm asking this question.
The only reason I'll even entertain what you're saying, but I fully expect us, and I don't want to compliment this football team right now, but I fully expect us to do what needs to be done.
I do too.
Well, I would say hopefully they don't have a running quarterback, because if we let Drew Aller run on us like that,
man,
we are losing at least 6 games in the Big 12.
Is Drew Aller good?
He's good. Oh, he's a good quarterback.
Good, man. Jay, I'm not with you on your stance on him. I'm good. I think he's good. I think he's really good.
Really good.
I think he's really good.
I think we
make that dime he threw at.
I think we make a lot of quarterbacks look really good though. Like we should be hoping that when we go to Tucson around Halloween, that we aren't playing for nothing.
No, I agree.
I get carved.
I saw Arizona's offense. I don't want any parts. Like, we're cooked. We're cooked.
We should be grateful we don't have to play Shador this year. Like that secondary and the way that we call it, I could tell that the secondary is a problem because we were just stubborn about the zone, even after being picked apart.
Yeah.
I can't say they did get that pass interference call on Aubrey Burks though, so that was a bad no call. But they don't call offensive pass interference in college anyway.
But why are you playing man at the end of the half there, Cook?
Yeah, especially when you've been married to zone the entire first half anyway.
No safety over the top. Like, why are you in that at the end of the half?
So I guess they just want to switch it up. But
that's terrible. I can't deal with that.
But none of those corners stuck out to me either. Number 1, or I guess the Gaines guy. Only person that stuck out to me on defense was TJ
Josiah Trotter.
Huh?
Josiah Trotter.
yeah, Josiah Trotter. Yeah, good call.
I'm sorry. It's just I've been talking about him all off season. It's just
TJ Jackson. He balled too. Trey Lathan. He balled a little bit, but other than that,
Trey Lathan should have been kicked out of the game. That was definitely targeting if I've seen targeting.
Could have been for sure. Could have been.
How much, Cook? Did you ever experience a delay like that when you were?
Yeah, that wasn't saying like.
Yeah, I never experienced a delay like that.
Do you expect for
Granted,
something like that to like shift momentum though? Like, because
well, we were already getting our ass kicked, so did it really do much?
I would say it did something for the coaches. They got an extra hour to look over the plays that were successful. And then also, like the offensive coordinator, he saw plays that were successful in the first half or whenever that rain delay was. And, just doing those 5 plays so you can start scripting coming out of halftime. So that gave them extra time to do that. But in terms of the players on the field, I don't think it was really an advantage, especially if you're losing.
Yeah. Well, folks, very uneventful game in Morgantown, West Virginia. Cook, if you had the hypothetical here, just speaking potential, completely hypotheticals, if you had the #1 pick in a fantasy football draft, PPR league, would you take Brees Hall?
No.
Okay, just curious. I know someone that did that.
No.
Anyway, coming up next on the show, a very, very special guest. Talk about not a high street legend, a Mountaineer legend. Stedman Bailey, folks. You won't want to miss this one right here on High Street Legends.
Stedman, thanks for joining us on today's show, man. Appreciate you coming
What's
on.
up? What's up, man? What's up, my brother, Darwin? Thanks for having me, man. It's been a long time, so it's good to catch up.
Got you, man. What you been up to ever since football, stopped and stuff like that?
Well, for the most part, bro, I've been busy just being a dad. I mean, obviously, I'm a retired athlete now, so stuff like just being there for my son, my kids is something that is top priority for me. So that's kind of what you can catch me doing. And then aside from that, just sharing my story, man, just kind of with the public speaking field. I get a chance to go around and, just kind of somewhat be a mentor for my local high schools, man, just trying to do whatever I can to keep these kids from, making the wrong choices. So that's something that I also have been up to as of late.
Got you. We're gonna talk about that too, if you want to talk about more about that.
Sure.
But we came together in the same class, 2009, which I think is probably the best recruiting class of West Virginia history. Me come from Cleveland, you come from Florida. We never really know anybody from Cleveland or Florida. So that's why every time me and him used to see each other when we was freshmen and sophomores, we was always cracking jokes, bro. Like every second, we can't be around each other without cracking jokes. But can you talk about your recruitment process coming from Miami, Florida? What made you choose West Virginia coming from Miami?
Okay, well, the recruitment process, man, from what I can recall, it was something that was really cool for me. Growing up as a kid here in Miami, I always had dreams, goals, aspirations to, just go make something of myself. I wasn't sure exactly what I would want to do when I was a kid. But one thing about me, I knew that I needed to try to find a way to be rich. And, my God-given talents through football took me, to the highest levels. But back to the recruiting process, like I said, it was a cool process, man. I started out.
Who recruited you coming in? Who recruited you coming in?
So to West Virginia, Doc Holliday was the head recruiter.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a strong pipeline, with us Florida guys. I think he was one of the ones to bring Noel Devine in also. But shoot, I started out, high school, freshman and sophomore year. I was over at a school called Miami City, which pretty good school, in terms of football. But in my years of playing there, we were in our down times, so to say, and we weren't really that great. But I was just, a young talent that seemed, have a promising future. So I took time to play junior varsity, 9th grade, 10th grade. I played varsity as a, wide receiver, and, made a little noise within Dade County football. But after that, I got a chance to see what Geno was doing over at Miramar Senior High School, and Geno and I actually was going to the same church here in Miami, and we would I remember, we sit in the church pews each and every Sunday, just kind of recapping what our Saturday night games were like. And I just would kind of just sit back and just listen to his stories about how he over at Miramar just throwing the ball left, right, and me being a wide receiver, man, that just all sound like music to my ears, bro. So I remember, just kind of going to my mom and telling her, hey, I need to make this change. I want to go over here where there's a quarterback who looked like he has a, pretty bright future, and, we could possibly do some things. And she listened to me. Yeah, she listened to me, bro. I got a chance to go over to Miramar, and Geno and I connected, like right away. 11th grade, I was went for 1,000 yards. I actually had two back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, and just it went very similar to the same things we were able to accomplish at West Virginia, bro. We were a force to be reckoned with, but with me being able to excel so well, man, the offers really started to pour in. And something that was different about Miramar is we had the head coach, Damon Cogdell, who was also former Mountaineer.
Yeah,
Shout out to y'all, to the bros. But yeah, Damon Cogdell, man, is a guy who was the head coach at Miramar at the time, and he was a person that you can genuinely see that he cared about us, not just what we were able to do on the football field, but just, who we were off the field also, man. He really became somewhat like a father figure to me, and to this day, I label him as Unc, because that's just pretty much what he always was for me. Anytime I had moments of stepping out of line, he was there to straighten me up, and he's someone that I'll forever be grateful for, because he helped me, just go down the right path. And but anyway, with me doing really well at Miramar, man, like I say, the offers started to pour in. I think if I wasn't to go to West Virginia, I probably would have chosen South Carolina, University of South Carolina, going over to the SEC.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would have been a little interesting scenario too. But I think, everything worked out for the greater good in terms of me choosing West Virginia. And, I just want to say that what helped me pick West Virginia was because, one, Damon Cogdell, him being a former player, he was a guy that had a lot of great things to say about West Virginia. And, he constantly took us up to West Virginia when we were high school students. He actually took our whole high school team, the whole football team, up to Morgantown for one of the camps that they hold annually. And, I remember seeing guys like Mike Joseph, and I think they had back then strength coach Mike Burrows was his name.
Burrows. Yeah, I never see him. I heard about him though.
Yeah, we got the football camp going on in the indoor, and then those guys was out on the outdoor, up top outside of the indoor facility. And I remember just seeing the guys, man, and just thinking to myself, bro, I want to be a part of this. And boys was looking like soldiers.
And you came in with a lot of highly rated receivers, 5-star Logan Hastings.
Yeah.
I think Dion from
Dion Long was committed also.
Right.
And
Tavon.
And then Tavon. Now, mind you, Tavon did not come in as a receiver. I think he was just one of those gifted players that you can see early on that he's just so much of a weapon that just get the ball in this kid's hand and he gonna make something happen. So he was able to switch the wide receiver and, just float really good. That worked out really good for him. But he actually came in as a running back, man. But to those other guys, Logan Hasty, I think he was the 5-star. And then Dion Long was like a 4-star, and so was I. I was actually really looking forward to coming to school to compete with those guys, bro, because I always felt like, even in my high school days, I was like an underdog kind of player. I didn't really get the love that I felt like I deserved for, the type of player that I was. But, it just always added fuel to my fire, man, make me pretty much want to call guys out just to prove a point.
Right.
So,
right.
in terms of being able to come to West Virginia and okay, I got these two guys that I'd be competing with. I was looking forward to it, bro, but unfortunately, it didn't work out for those two guys to be there, and I'm not sure what the reasons were, but you know, that's their business.
Yep.
I'm kind of curious. Like, I want to go back a little bit, not too far, but when you said you were sitting in the, the church pews with Geno,
Yeah.
like talking about you guys as like high school games, what was the full circle moment like once you guys got the W? I don't want to move too far, but like,
Yeah.
what was that
Um,
circle moment like?
well, me, bro, I guess I could say I'm a religious person. You know, I grew up in a household where I always knew that, you know, Jesus Christ was my Lord and Savior. So
Sir,
get the
yes,
chance
sir.
to sit down in the church pews, bro, and talk to him about how good he was doing, how good I was doing, and then just for us to, you know, essentially come together and take off the way we did. I just felt like, you know, that was a godly divine plan, bro. Just starting right there from the church pews. I mean, Geno's been through a lot of different things, and you know, so have I. But you know, together we was able to come together and just really help one another become elite.
Yeah, for sure.
So what was that like, Stedman? Like you had that connection with Geno in high school. Let's fast
Yeah.
forward to 2012, 25 touchdowns, second all time with tie with Randy Moss. So tell me about how was that connection with Geno and playing in that air raid offense at the time? How did that contribute to that year you had in 2012?
Um, well, I want to say, you know, just being in that air raid offense, that plays probably the biggest role in, you know, the opportunities that I had to make the plays that I did. Before Dana Holgerson came to West Virginia, which he got there, I was a redshirt sophomore. Um, I remember he came down to Miramar and he wanted to have a meeting with Geno and I. He knew that, you know, Geno was going to be running the offense and, you know, I was one of the receivers. So he wanted to have a meeting. And I remember him just kind of coming off as a person who just wanted to put his foot down and just, oh, I'm the boss. This is how I'm coming. This X, Y, Z is what we're doing. And it's like, you know, it ain't even that deep, but you know, we'll see when we get back up to school because at that time he was on vacation. Like,
He came at y'all like that?
yeah, bro, he came off a little aggressive, so I was kind of thinking, you know, initially like, dang, you know, we just haven't, you know, we was in a coaching transition. You know, obviously at the time, Coach Bill Stewart, rest in peace, he was still alive, so he was being promoted to the head coach, which meant that Holgerson was coming in to be the offensive coordinator. So he just was, you know, saying that, you know, he run his system a certain kind of way, and it's just like, okay, y'all gonna get in line kind of stuff. And I'm a person that don't really take a whole lot of things serious. Or like, okay, I hear you, but I was just more so hoping that you know, he wasn't coming with the mindset to just try to be like a military type coach, but you know, let's work together, let's win. So, you know, we moved past that. And for myself, I had heard about Holgerson, Coach Dana Holgerson running the air raid offense. So I said, okay, well, let me go ahead and do some research, look at some of the guys who has come through his offense. And when I got a chance to look at the list of some of the guys, I'm looking at Blackman. What's my guy name? Blackman, who played at Oklahoma State.
Justin Black.
Justin Blackman. Oh man, I think he was a two-time Biletnikoff winner. Michael Crabtree was in his system. Danny Amendola. Just he. Long story short, I want to say from the list that I was able to see, I saw at least 10 different guys that had gone for over 1,000 yards. So for me, that kind of got me really excited because I said, okay, I look at Crabtree because he won Biletnikoff, and then I looked at Justin Blackman, and I say to myself, well, Justin Blackman had like 22 touchdowns one year. I'm like, you know, that's a whole lot. But if I could get a fraction of what those guys was doing, then, you know, I should be putting myself in good shape to, you know, eventually make it to the NFL. And sure enough, he came on there, you know, really good offense. And it started out with a situation for me. He wanted Tavon and I to run the slots because that's where a lot of success was coming from in his offense. Like, you know, either slots were like players that, you know, kind of like gadget players. You get to move around a lot. You catch some of them sweeps that Tavon made famous. And, you know, you just get a lot of opportunities to catch the ball and, you know, make something happen. But I think our receiver, Bradley Starks, who was playing the X position, he was a guy that was kind of going through injuries a whole lot. So I remember one practice, you know, Coach Hogerson came and said to the receivers that he needed somebody to step up and play the X position. And me personally, I always felt that I was the best receiver on the team. So it was like, okay, let me get out there and you know, the rest was history. You'll pretty much just always see me lined up on the left side of the field. And you know, that's pretty much what it was. But so again, you know, the majority of my success come from the fact that the offense was just, you know, so wide open. But then again, you know, my skill set fit right into the offense very, very perfectly. And then having a quarterback like Geno Smith, I couldn't ask for a better situation, really.
How difficult was it for defenses to defend, you know, you guys at the time? Because how often did you see double teams? Because if you double team you know, you got Tavon in the slot. So how awkward was it for defenses, honestly?
Well, I think defenses were probably, you know, just to be frank, they were probably scared shitless, you know, when they had to when they had to face us, man, because we were a high-power offense, and the majority of it came from the three of us. I mean, the whole offense was pretty good, but you know, 3-1, you just got to figure out how you can slow us down. I mean, I don't think you're gonna really come up with a plan to stop it. But just to kind of put things into perspective, our last year, 2012, Tavon and I both finished the year with 114 catches apiece. That's kind of wild when I think about it. Like, both of us had 114. But I say that to say there wasn't no situation where you could really double team one, because it's kind of like you pick your poison. You leave a one-on-one matchup, we're going to find a way to eat it up. But then in some instances, we beat your double team too.
Right.
So, I mean, we just was on it, man. We had the plays to pretty much be successful on whatever coverage you was running. And, you know, when I kind of think back on that, I think that's a funny situation, because within Hogerson's offense, though it may seem like, you know, we was doing a whole lot of different things, we may have only had like 10 plays in a whole offense.
How does that work, having 10 plays?
It was more so, okay, we got like some set plays, and every play that there is that's quote unquote set is a coverage beater. Whether you're running one, you're running two, we got to play for that. We got to play for your three. We got to play for your four. But then when you're trying to get freaky, you're trying to get funky over there on the defensive side. Now you got Geno. Okay, he reading the defense, and now we just going all signals.
And that's what I wanted to ask. Like, when the playbook is that simple, does it make it easier for a quarterback who is as intelligent as Geno to kind of step to the line and just check out of something to get to one of the other 9 out of 10 plays, if that makes sense?
Yeah, well, I think so, because again, every play that we did have was something that will bust your coverage. So you got to be quite comfortable and, you know, quite confident just knowing that when you get to the line of scrimmage, you know, you got some good wide receivers, which sometimes they used to call us terrific targets, that you throw the ball to anyone on, you know, they're going to make the play for you. And again, we got a play that's been called that should beat whatever coverage we see in. So as long as, you know, the offensive line do their part of holding up, then we should have a successful play. So I think that that made Geno very comfortable, and it pretty much showed up, you know, on Saturdays.
Now, like when you bring that up, I'm kind of curious. You were there for the transition, you know, from the Big East to the Big 12, and you kind of think of how, you know, I'm a big boxing fan, and you hear like styles makes fights all the time, and I
Right.
feel like the same, you know, it's kind of in college football where you see Big Ten. It's not shocking to look at Iowa or Nebraska or Wisconsin, see them under center, and you know
Mm-hmm.
maybe be in an I formation or an NFL, you know, traditional set as opposed to
Styles of play.
exactly. And you look at like
Yeah.
12, almost everybody is kind of running spread air raid to some extent. So, what was the
Yeah.
big or the most noticeable transition from
Uh,
to the Big 12 for you?
well, I think the Big East was a little more smash mouth,
Mm,
if that makes sense. You know,
yeah,
you had teams that was really trying to run the ball and whatnot, versus, like you say, the Big 12. Um, if it's 12 teams in the Big 12, probably 11 or 12 out of 12 had some type of spread system. So you go from a league, Big East, where it's very competitive, but the games may not be as high scoring,
right.
still good games nonetheless. And then you come over to the Big 12, and, you know, I think
You
it's
get
probably a little more exciting because you got a lot more splash plays. You got a lot more plays that are, so to say, you know, big plays, because it's coming from, you know, both sides. And for me, we only got 1 year to play in the Big 12, but I had a lot of fun. I mean, mostly because of the success I was able to have.
right.
Now that year was really a headache because we had so much talent, man, and I feel like we should have accomplished so much more, even all the way of saying that we could have been in position to compete for a national championship, especially with the momentum we had coming off that prior year of winning the Orange Bowl. But I'll just be real. I mean, everybody know our defense was terrible that year. And I think a big part of that was the fact that we had a coaching change on from the defensive coordinator side, and it kind of changed up a lot of things, which did not have our guys prepared for what we was going to go see in the Big 12, man. A lot of blown coverages, and, you know, we having games where 70 points are being scored from the offense, but you almost lose. That's kind of unheard of, but that's what we were dealing with, man. And so that year was seesaw kind of year. But for me, you know, it was a great year to and a great way for me to end off my college career.
So walk me through exactly that game. Like, I know Cook's dealing with some connection issues and whatnot, but he's told us
Yeah.
stories like the offense coming back to the sideline, like, yo, can we get a stop? So when
A
you
little help.
playing,
Yeah.
so when you
Well,
win the
that
game,
was
like, are you really just like, what the
oh,
fuck?
shit.
Can we get a stop?
Yeah. So that was our inaugural Big 12 game, first game of their season, where we were facing a Big 12 opponent. And we knew we had Baylor Bears coming into town. So for me, I'm excited. You know, I know they had some good receivers on that side too. And me being a receiver back then, I used to always kind of just look around the country at the leaderboards to see what other receivers were making noise. And, you know, they had Terrence Williams that year, who was also a finalist for the Biletnikoff. And just about every week, you know, he was going for 100 yards. So I knew that game was going to be a doozy. But from what I've heard, you know, people like Coach Hoganson would always tell us that, you know, we're going to have to score a lot of points and just to be able to compete in the Big 12. So I remember, you know, the game kickoff, and I think they struck first fast too. No. My boy Darwin Cook came up with a big time interception. I think to start the game off. Is he on still?
His connections
Our
messing
connection
His
up.
connection is
right
bad.
Yeah,
But I think my guy within that opening drive got an interception, and then the offense come on. I think we go 3 and out. But Baylor struck first, and I remember just kind of saying to myself, like, "All right, we got ourselves a game here." The guy Terrence Williams was on that side of the ball. He actually went for 300 yards, just like I did. But that game was kind of like a situation of, you know, who's going to score like last, basically, you know, because it's kind of we score, they score, we score, they score. And Cook, like he said, he told you all, y'all had conversations about it before, where we score, we on the sideline, you know, the Gatorade, whatever, prepping up for when we have to take the field again. And I'd be damn. These guys that went down and scored another touchdown. So people like myself, you know, Tavon, the well-respected guys on offense, you know, we definitely jumped in the defensive huddles a couple times. Like, can we please have a break? But Baylor was rolling, and just as well as we were in that game in particular. So it was really hard to slow those guys down. But you know, at the end of the day, we was able to come up with the win, and I think that game, so many records were broken. From the overall game standpoint, I think combined points, probably, if not the most
I
points
think
scored
yards is
in.
still up there too. Like I think
Yeah,
like,
the total yardage, the total points, total touchdowns, like it was a lot of different records that were broken. So um that game specifically got a lot of the country to be, you know, kind of put on notice that West Virginia got something, and I mean obviously Baylor does too, but the fact that we won, you know, we took the crown there.
I'm kind of curious once you get to like that point and you I kind of want to say you have a game with 300 yards. Is that the moment you feel like not only you're a Biletnikoff finalist, but do you feel like you've won the award after that point?
Man, you know what, bro? The Biletnikoff was something that was probably the last thing on my mind in that last year. I was actually shocked to find out that I was a finalist in the preseason, but then I kind of had to think back to the type of year that I had. Tavon and I both were Biletnikoff finalists, and they choose about 20 guys around the country, you know, who's coming off a strong campaign from the previous year to pretty much be put on watch alert. And you know, I remember being surprised of just even landing as a nominee, as somebody that the country's watching. So I just went on with the season. You know, I had the 300-yard game, and I was excited about it. But again, I'm still not thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna win a Biletnikoff. I'm just taking it all a game at a time, and just for me, you know, just kind of doing stuff that was routine. All the plays that you all saw on Saturdays. I mean, if you could, if I could put together a practice highlight tape, you know, you got your boy Iverson say practice. You know, it's just practice, but that's where the magic used to really happen, man. We used to give my boy Darwin. He was a safety. We used to give him hell. But I think, you know.
But then I come back in here, y'all already talking cash money.
Well, Cook, you missed it. He said you were the only bright spot from that Baylor game, so we gotta give you your props.
Okay, I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
bro.
I appreciate that.
I said that I think if I remember correctly, opening drive, you came up with an interception off the tip. Am I right?
Off the tip.
Okay.
I do.
And we were not able to capitalize off that and go score, which led to them to come right back and go score.
Right. But we shouldn't have to depend on those. We shouldn't have to depend on that.
Yeah. And I was just telling the guys that, man, you know, that was a year that I felt like, you know, we fell short from so many aspects, because we had all the talent coming off a strong year of the Orange Bowl, all that momentum we had. But the coaching change on the defensive side really screwed us. You guys were not prepared for the Big 12.
Definitely wasn't prepared for the Big 12.
Yeah, so
you said that before, and I'm like really interested. Like, and we were just talking about the transition from the Big East to the Big 12, and you've kind of spoken on it before, but having you guys here, like, I feel like adds more context from the defensive side. And Stedman has talked about the high pace offenses, the big plays, and things of that nature. From your side and playing safety, what was your part of the transition that you saw that was the hardest going from the Big East to the Big 12? And let's take the coaching, preparedness out of it, if that makes sense.
So I would say for defense, it was the tempo. It was the tempo that the offense was using. And it was really like they trying to score every play. Like they may want to take you deep every play. But like what was we at the Big East? It was more like power football. So we know a run was coming on
smash
first
mouth.
round. Smash mouth. And then you want to watch this. Man, come on now. Against them Baylor track athletes, man.
Yeah,
We was
they had a
getting
couple guys over there that was really rolling.
we was getting cooked out there. Oh yeah, did y'all ask him about Baylor and him basically eclipsing the record and all that stuff?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. So what's the reason you feel like you ain't got the record, Stedman?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
So what's the reason you feel that you don't have the record after the Baylor game?
That I do not have the record?
Yeah. What's the reason why?
What record? You talking about the trophy?
No, I'm talking about the receiving record. You was gonna have the NCAA receiving record. In the Baylor game, they had like 300 and something yards.
Well, I
You
honestly don't know
that?
what. I remember how many yards I had, of course, but I mean, as far as just single game record, I don't know what those numbers are. I think it's from the guy Troy Edwards though, but it's somewhere north of 300. Somewhere north of 300, but I mean, stuff like that was never a goal of mine, man. Like, oh, let me see if I could break the single most receiving yards in one game. I just used to go out there and play. I mean, obviously, the type of offense we run at Darwin at any given moment, one or three could be running down the sideline for 60, 70 yards, and the yards just pile up. I'm never really looking at it like, okay, statistical. I used to look at it when it mattered, when they actually said, okay, you are a Biletnikoff finalist. Then it really hit me like, you know what, I really am going crazy this year.
Yeah. So I was saying it may not have been the NCAA record, but I think it was the Big 12 record. It was you and Terrence Williams. He was the receiver on Baylor from that team. And like it would be a play where it's like, oh, Stedman Bailey has broke the Big 12 record. And then the next play later, oh, Terrence Williams, he just broke the record. So I would say the reason why you don't have the record is because our defense.
Thank you. Thank you.
That defense was crazy.
That's the elephant in the room, huh?
Big one.
Yeah.
That defense was crazy.
So Stedman, you had that amazing season. We talked about the 25 touchdowns and whatnot. Let's fast forward now to it's time to decide to come out for the draft. 3rd round pick. Did that surprise you? Do you expect to go higher? What was that process like? Walk us through that.
I was upset.
Okay.
I was upset, bro. I mean, obviously, it's a blessing to even hear your name called in the draft, right? But for what it's worth and for what I did numbers-wise, I don't know how it was anything later than a 2nd round pick. Now, obviously, when it comes to the draft, you got the NFL Combine that can either propel your stock or it can decline. Now, I think I had a pretty okay combine. I ran a 4.5, which I thought I should have ran faster, but to me, 4.5 is decent. I've never been caught from behind, and I had 0 problems in college running by dudes who clocked 4.2, 4.3s, and all that other stuff, So I felt like I should have been 2nd round. I actually feel like I should have been a 1st round pick, man. But
Yeah.
You know,
like back-to-back double-digit touchdown seasons and back-to-back
back-to-back thousand, back-to-back double.
I would think so, you know? Like,
Wait, hold on. Stedman, hold on. Before you came on, Cook told us he ran a 4.47. And I just need some clarification now.
Darwin?
Blazing, don't play, bro.
Because
Yeah,
Stan, you told me he ran a
no.
4.5. And Cook
Listen.
said he ran a 4.47. And look, I don't teach
Listen.
math, but
Cook was blazing, bro.
Listen, I mean, a guy like Darwin, you probably can never actually see his speed for real because he's a defensive guy.
okay.
He running downhill trying to make tackles. Now we did see him scamper in the Orange Bowl for 99 yards, which I mean he didn't really have to outrun too many people because nobody saw that he had the ball. So he just that was
He's saying
easy,
DeAndre Hopkins, he was like this.
Yeah. He choked the engine. He shut it down. But if it was a situation that one of those guys on their team, whether it had been Andre Ellington, the running back, or DeAndre Hopkins, Sammy, also who was a Blazer.
Yeah, very fast. Yeah.
The way my boy Cook was rolling, I don't think nobody was going to get him. But
I had to check.
yeah, but no, I mean, you know, as far as Cook and his speed, that was one of the first things that I noticed about him when I met him coming in as freshmen.
There you go.
Like this guy here is different. He played defensive end in high school, but he my size.
Yeah.
And then he's like really blazing. So I just was like, I don't all that kind of weird to me, but you know, I said I looked at Don was like, we gonna figure him out. We gonna see. I mean, but from just having little workouts, man, summer workouts and stuff like that, where we had to really open up some speed, Cook was top dog. He was top dog.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he
I used to be beating
tells you no
Tavon
lie.
sometimes. I'm telling you, I used to be beating Tavon.
But see, even that, you got a guy like Cook, 4.47, 4.43, 4.3. I'll find a way to run by you for 6.
True.
Because I think you know, when it comes to
like that
route running and just kind of getting yourself open, to me, it's like a game of illusion. If I could make you think I'm doing this, I got you.
Yeah.
And that's something that I was able to do real well. Like, I'll probably run at you. You could be standing off 10 yards, I'll run at you just weaving in and out, in and out. Now you thinking, where he going? Until I'm by you.
And then talk about the draft too. You went to the St. Louis Rams with Tavon. Can you talk about that experience and then also talk about the stand you guys took against the police and you came up, hands up, don't shoot.
Yeah.
Also you're in the African American Hall of Fame as well. So, you know, what do that mean to you in the museum in Washington, D.C.? So what do that mean to you, man? That's historical.
Well, getting the phone call, you know, again, just kind of going back to the draft. So I'm drafted 3rd round, 92nd pick overall. I remember getting a phone call and just kind of being like, you know, you watch the TV and they always show when it's draft time, they show people surrounded by their family. And, you know, a lot of times it's a very emotional moment for the dudes who are the ones getting their name called because, you know, you just realize it all set in, all the hard work, and, you know, it's paid off. The moment's here.
Yep.
For me, I was with my family and stuff, but I think the fact that I fell down to number 92, my attitude was very nonchalant.
Yeah.
And looking back, that's kind of weird. I don't know why I wasn't acting crazy, but it just was like, all right, you know, they called me St. Louis Rams, and then my boy Tavon just was drafted by the same team a couple rounds earlier. So I just looked at the situation like, oh yeah, we about to get it cracking. You know, we should be able to kind of just pick up where we left off in college, you know. Well, that's was something that I hope what was gonna happen. You know, me and Tavon was able to create some really, really good chemistry, man, and just, you know, like a brotherhood where we'll do anything for each other. You know, we was like Batman and Robin. So just going into a situation with the St. Louis Rams where, you know, you got your brother with you. It made things a lot easier for me, and I'm sure he would probably say the same thing because we were roommates in college. Anytime we had to travel or we had home games, Darwin, you know the routine was. You know, we had to go stay in a hotel a day prior to the game, man. You know, Tavon was always my roommate, so we would always discuss plays and what we think we're gonna do the next day. And the same thing happened, you know, when we got to college. You know, rookies, all the rookies were together, and before we all branched off to get our own spots, our own individual spots, we were, you know, staying in the hotel for a while and going through the rookie mini camps and all that stuff. Tavon, right on the other bed, you know, and we discussing plays. We talking about some of the butterflies we having from just being around the real pros, but just you know, nevertheless, just navigating through it and you know, just enjoying the process, man. It was a dream come true for the both of us. Now, I will say that I feel like oftentimes your success in the NFL is dependent on situations, scenarios. You know, you have certain players that just fall into the right situation and they have instant success. And then you have some players that kind of go into a situation where the coach may not even really know how to properly use them. And it's like, this player is stagnant. That's not what we saw in college. And I feel like that was the case for both me and Tavon in St. Louis. You know, I wish I had kind of been born into a situation of like playing with a Tom Brady, man, some like a quarterback that was just extremely proven. Where I could just come in and, you know, just showcase my talent to help the team. But, you know, that's neither here or there. Again, you know, it was a blessing, you know, just to be in the NFL now. You asked about the stance that we took in St. Louis in 2013. My teammates and I, within a very, very bad time in America, man, you know, decided to take a stance and come out and do a peaceful protest in support of Mike Brown, who was a young Black man who got killed in St. Louis by law enforcement. And he had his hands up, you know, unarmed, same story, you know, just a different day. And that moment garnered a lot of attention. That wasn't, you know, something that we aimed to do. Or actually, you know what? That's what a protest is about, to try to garner attention. But we didn't think it was going to be as big as it was, you know. And for me, I'm proud to be a part of that moment because I feel like, you know, I stood on the right side of history. But I will say that while I do feel like that was the right thing to do, you know, there are two sides of a coin. And, you know, I acknowledge the other side of it too, whereas some people may have hated, you know, what my teammates and I decided to do. But when it came to, you know, just kind of making that choice, you know, it was something that we kind of all sat around in the locker room and just talked about. And, you know, we all just looked at the situation like we all looked like the dude that got killed out there. So there's something that we could do, you know, but it got crazy, man. You know, just seeing a lot of people for who they truly were behind something that we decided to do. And when it comes to protesting, you know, we decided to do it because that we got rights in America. Freedom of speech is one, and we decided to exercise that right. And for me, you got different ways that you could protest. You know, it seemed like when the peaceful protests don't work, stuff like us bringing attention with the hands up, then you got some people that's gonna take it up a notch, and then you got the looting and everything else that comes with it. And I'm not in agreement to that, but you know, to me, what kind of whatever it takes for the people to just feel the pain of what we have been dealing with for so long. We just thought it was an important moment, bro. And as you also said, that picture of us coming out of the tunnel with our hands up is now in the National African American History Museum that's located in DC. And I just recently got a chance to take my kids up to DC on a little mini vacation, and we got a chance to visit that museum. And my son, who is 11 years old now, Stedman Jr., he was really excited about it. You know, a lot of times, you know, when he kind of get a chance to see pictures of me, whether it's old football pictures or something like that, where I took a stance for something that was, you know, very critical.
Right.
I just, you know, it's something that makes him proud, and it makes me proud too.
Right. That's big time, bro. And
Yeah.
we appreciate you doing that too.
Oh, no doubt, man, no doubt. I'll do it again.
There you go. And I kind of want to know from your perspective, because we'd be remiss if we didn't ask, how are you feeling about the WU receiving core now? And the young talent they have. And just from my perspective, they kind of remind me of the 2009 class. I'm not saying they have a Stedman. I'm not saying they have a Tavon either. But what I am saying is they brought in
What you talking about, Willis?
all I'm saying is
I was about to say.
they brought in 2 to 3 very talented guys in the same recruiting class that were able to start as freshmen, as true
Yeah.
freshmen, and have an impact. And now Traylon Ray, Rodney Gallagher, Hudson Clement, we're seeing guys who are about to step into their sophomore, some junior years, and hopefully contribute in an impactful way.
Yeah, man. Well, first and foremost, I'm really excited about the season this year. You know, we in the Big 12, and with the exit of Texas and Oklahoma, who just joined the SEC, that to me leaves the Big 12 wide open, right? And Mountaineers, we always kind of, you know, preseason polls and slightly towards the end of the years too, maybe except for last year and maybe a one other year, I can't remember. We kind of be finishing at the bottom of the barrel. We don't really do too well. But again, last year those guys really blew me away with how they came out and competed all year. I don't think they were ever really picked to win, and they came out and won some, you know, some really good games. And, you know, just kind of back to your point with the young wide receivers, I was impressed with what I saw. I think the future is bright, you know, as long as the quarterbacks and receivers, you know, they could kind of stay on the same page. I really hope that the offense can click. Garrett Green is receiving a lot of preseason hype. I hope that the preseason hype for him doesn't go to his head, where he comes out and he lay an egg, because it can go both ways. You know, you can look at it like, okay, the country is taking notice of who I am, you know, my hard work, or it can just go to your head and you feel like you're arrived, and you know, you get hit in the mouth, or you be in for a rude awakening. But again, you know, the young receivers, I think sky's the limit for them. Big 12, we're gonna have to continue to score points. We're gonna have to continue to compete. So I think if those guys can do that, man, they should be good. They should be good. And then they got a young wide receiver coach too, who was a guy that is from South Florida, where I'm from. So you know, I get a chance to chat with him quite often, and you know, I'm just kind of proud of what he's doing, the way he's leading those receivers.
And then also, so we have a part of the show. I think the best one for me is like your top 5 players from the state of Florida that attended West Virginia University. The top 5. So they don't have to be from your school.
Oh yeah. Ah,
Top
okay.
5 that you know about. That you know.
Yeah. Can we do receivers next?
Yeah, we can do receivers next.
All right, cool. But top 5 guys that attended WVU from Florida. Carl Joseph.
Okay.
That's a Florida guy.
Okay, I didn't expect that. Joseph's in there.
Ooh, out the gate.
So first?
Out the gate.
Out the gate.
I mean, obviously, I say myself, obviously, you know, Geno, obviously, Noel Devine.
4.
That's 4.
Nice list.
JB, KJ.
Them all Americans, I think.
Yeah. We there was some strong cats that came through right there. From what I just named.
There's a lot of players from Florida, man.
Yeah.
Is Pac-Man from Florida?
Nah, he's from Georgia.
Okay.
He's from Georgia. This one is probably a player that people forget, but I like Robert Sands.
Oh yeah, Robert Sands was nice.
He was just so big out there. The man was 6'5". He was a monster, man. I think he actually left school early too. He probably could have came back the year we went to the Orange Bowl, but I think he had already got out of there. But I actually played with Robert Sands down here in high school and Little League. We played Little League together. He was always the tallest kid everywhere we went, you know. But
who's your top?
I like that list, man. Nice list.
He's a player. You say what?
Was Chris Henry from Florida?
Chris Henry? No. I honestly don't know where Chris Henry is from, but he's not a Florida guy.
Okay. Who's your top 5 receivers?
Top 5 receivers, WVU history. Well, I'm more so of a recent guy because prior to Pat White, Steve Slayton era, I never really knew much about WVU football at all. Probably never even really heard of it, to be honest. You know, I'm a South Florida kid that when football became something of high interest for me, about 10, 11 years old, that's early 2000s, and that's when the greatest college football team I was ever assembled was playing down here in Miami. Sean Taylor, everybody. I get a chance to go watch some of them games, and man, I just to think to myself, I'll never be this good to even step on the field with people like this. Like that roster was just so deep. So I didn't get a chance to see WVU football up until the Pat White years. And when we talk about top 5 wide receivers, I'm gonna definitely go. I gotta go with my boy Tavon because what he was able to bring to the table was something that was one of a kind. Like, I mean, for not just WVU football, but all like college football in general. Very few has been able to come and do and move like Tavon Austin. I gotta pay homage to late great kid Chris Henry. I didn't get a chance to see him play. Nothing at all. But I've done my research, and we got what we call YouTube. I see he was a monster. Kind of remind me of Kevin White a little bit. From a size perspective and you know, just big play guy. I think if Chris Henry was able to play in an offense like what I played in, my records, I might be having to, you know, battle him for what the records would look like, because he seemed like he could take the top off the defense and, you know, just pretty much have his way also. After Chris Henry, I say David Sims.
A very good one.
I say David Sims.
Big fan.
So are you saying Tavon number 1?
That's 3. That's 3 right there.
Yeah,
that's 3.
Number 1 receiver of all time?
I'm just going
Just
top
Yeah,
five.
just give me a
top
5.
five. No real
Yeah.
specific order.
Wait, Stedman. So would you take? Obviously, I know you got two more names, but Sills over. I was a Gary Jennings guy.
Yeah. Uh, mm, Sills and Jen, they played together, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I think Gary from Florida.
Man, I don't know
Oh
what
no, this
Gary's
a
from.
hard.
Virginia. Gary's from
He gonna
Virginia.
get some slack for this list right here.
Yeah, they might holler at me, but it's
Get
my
some
list, bro.
slack for this one.
It's my
All
list.
right, go ahead.
But no, as far as sales go, man, that man used to just go score. And that's just what type of time I was on. Like I honestly used to see, he's scoring so much that he trying to threaten my record. And I used to root against him.
Yeah. I feel you.
Hey, slow down, my boy, slow down out there, They was out
Yeah.
there balling. But I like sales. What it is, 3. I gotta say, I'm gonna put Kevin White in there for his one explosive year that he had, that pretty much propelled him to be drafted as a top 10 pick. And he was also a Biletnikoff finalist too. I think Amari Cooper won that year, but he went off.
Yeah.
He went off, and just kind of looking at Kevin from, I guess, like a size perspective, that was an animal out there on the field.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna say me.
There you go.
Okay.
That's a 5.
I think
Yeah.
I think I'm the GOAT.
Okay.
I think I'm the GOAT. Tavon is co-GOAT, but I think I'm the GOAT just
There you go.
because I
I
was
like
like a real pure
Yeah.
receiver.
Yeah.
Like I tip my hat to what Tavon was able to do because, as we said earlier in the show, Tavon came to the school to play running back.
Yeah.
But he just had the talent to do anything,
Yeah.
any and everything. We put him at running back one game, Oklahoma. He go for 300 yards, 500 all-purpose. Like, to be able to share the field with somebody like that, man, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. But that's my 5. That's my 5 receivers, and I'm sure I'm gonna get some slack, Cook, because I see when that conversation come up, I always, whether it be on Facebook, it's Twitter, Instagram, I just kind of stroll the comments to see, what do the people think?
You
And
got
I
guys
see,
like Jerry Porter, Jerry Porter back in the day.
yeah. I've seen his name, but again, that's like so far before my time. Like I ain't really see what he was able to do. I could just kind of go off reading the numbers, and that don't always tell the tale. But one person that I see is highly respected is Mr. Reggie Rember. Now we played with his son. We played with his son, Darwin, when we were, at WVU. But his father, they say, was the man, and I think he might have played back with Major Harris somewhere way back. So that's, I don't know.
Yep, shout out Brand. And
Yeah.
definitely, we like to ask the guests, what is it like to be a Mountaineer? I know when you went through your experience, like your experience with gun violence, you got a lot of support from Mountaineer Nation. Can you talk about what that support meant for you and how that made you feel?
Well, Mountaineer Nation, man, it's it's pure love, man. Just to say the least. You got the state of West Virginia that holds roughly 1.8 million people. That's not a whole lot of people, but everybody within that state bleeds blue and gold. They love the Mountaineers, and they show up each and every Saturday, and they're yelling, they loud. You see it. And, for me, just being able to have forever lasting impact on WVU football, that goes a long way. Oftentimes, not even just when I'm in West Virginia, I'm here in Florida, driving around, I see the flying WV signal. I mean, not signal, the logo. And, I just oftentimes I smile. I even want sometimes want to roll my window down and just, just holler at whoever may be driving the car that's next to me that has the logo. But when I went through my incident, man, in 2015, I wasn't sure, maybe for about a week or so, just how much support that I was actually getting from people that know me, people who don't know me, Mountaineer Nation, just people from all over the world, man, who was able to, just learn about the situation and just kind of send a prayer up for me. But by the time things started to, just come together for me, I saw the outpour of love, and especially from Mountaineer Nation. Like it really was heartwarming, and it kind of added some fuel to my fire in terms of my own goals of pursuing trying to get back on the football field.
Right.
Like I was doing it for a couple different reasons. First and foremost, myself. Felt like I had got cheated. My son, just for him to see his dad go through something that was that almost claimed my life.
Right.
And just put the work in, the perseverance to just overcome it. You understand? Like that's something back then to me, to me, I was like, yeah, I gotta show him that, I'm a warrior, all my family, and then people like Mountaineer Nation, everybody who sent me a positive message that just let me know that they were rooting for me to go reach the stars, man. I said, yeah, I got all y'all, and then most importantly, just to show the world how powerful God was in my situation. Situation where most people don't live. Like, I'm finna show y'all something different. Now, granted, I wasn't able to make it back to the NFL, but the journey, the lessons that I learned on the journey, and to see situations where I got people hit me up, Cook, and they say, man, hey, I remember one lady, she was a lady from West Virginia, and she was like, my husband never believed in Christ, but just kind of seeing you overcome what you did, like he's not a believer. I think that's what life is about, bro.
Nice.
I think that's really what life is about. Like, okay, how many people you can impact in the world? And that's the greatest impact that you can have on somebody, just introducing somebody to Christ so that they can live a full life, you know what I'm saying? But stuff like that, bro, was why I was on it. I was trying to get out there. And again, like I say, I didn't make it back, but I live my life every day, man. Full of positive energy and just showing love, man. That's what I feel like the world lacks a lot of, love. So I just try to roll as an example.
I'm curious.
I felt like saying hallelujah like 2 times while you was talking.
Oh yeah, and that's why I do the public speaking, Cook, because I mean it get deep, bro. It get deep, and I understand, what I done overcome, and I
Then you about to say
understand.
hallelujah like 2, 3 times.
Yeah. I got something. God gave me a story, bro, that can help people. So that's why, in this time, this place and space of life, I be talking to folks, bro, to let them know, like, life is real.
I want to ask you because nothing is normal about your situation at all, and it's absolutely a blessing. I want to know, was there a time during recovery where you were kind of nervous about the perception that the WVU fan base or football fans might have of your situation, or did you
that's a good question. That's a good question, bro, because in my situation, when I take myself out of it, and I sit back and I watch the news a lot, and I see certain scenarios, a shooting may have taken place over here, over there, and it sounds like, or it seems from what they report, like a situation where kind of like what I went through. Football player was shot twice in his head. Over 30 bullets was sprayed through the car. My first thoughts is, well, what the hell was he doing? What was he into? You know, did he owe some money? You know, the drug situation going bad. So,
Bro, you got a great sense of humor, bro.
hey, nah, that's real, bro. I mean, you like, why would somebody shoot so many times at me, bro? Well, and it wasn't a situation that it was for me, bro. But either way it go, the public don't know that, right? So, for a little while, I kind of thought that way, like, damn, you know, from a public perception, people might think like, okay, maybe I was drug dealer. You know, I actually had a situation where I had to serve suspensions while I was playing in the NFL for drug tests that was for marijuana, which is they done changed a whole lot about
Yeah, I was
that
gonna say, look at it
nowadays,
now,
but
like, you know.
I
But
mean,
now,
back then, you know, it cost me. But so I was kind of thinking that people would kind of read up on those type of articles and then try to connect it with that situation and say like, yeah, he probably was selling drugs or whatever. Just a whole lot of stupid stuff, bro. But I always felt that with the power of social media, which kind of like Facebook was college, you know, that was the thing, and then Instagram wasn't as big as it is today, but that was a thing also. I always portrayed a really good image. Like I've always been Christ driven, you know, never been ashamed to show that, express that. And I feel like, you know, sometimes you feel like you know a person by just the way they operate on social media, like what's important to that person. So I just kind of try to lean on that. Like people should know that like I'm not that kind of person, but moving forward to moving forward to like now, I definitely try to share my story as much as possible so people can understand like I ain't never been on that type of time.
Right.
You know, but the more I kind of grow, continue to get older, just learn life, understand life, mishaps gonna happen to every last one of us in life, bro, whether it be your health, you know, you could get in a car accident. You know, I think about the young brother Kyrie Jackson, who just lost his life in a car accident.
Yeah, he's from my area, so it's pretty big out here right
couple days ago. And again, I watched the news and learning about his situation, educating myself, seeing that everybody in his car died, the other car, everybody survived. And I think the people that survived were the ones under the influence. That's a very misfortunate situation, bro. And it's just another reminder that tomorrow ain't promised to nobody.
Exactly.
So that's just what I be on. Like I tell my story and it's like, man, again, I was never on that type of time, but sometimes life happens. You never know how it's gonna happen. But for me, you know, I just was always just trying to understand like what's the lesson in all this, and then, you know, more importantly, like how can I turn the situation around to help other people? And we living in times where gun violence is at an all-time high. Like every region is being touched. So now I kind of got a story that could insert myself in some of them conversations. And it's been a journey that I could say is kind of fulfilling for me because I've gotten a chance to share the same space with other survivors of gun violence. And mentally, they just be just thrown off, man. And like, just not really feeling hopeful, not really feeling optimistic until they meet a person like myself that helps them understand that, you know, life gonna happen. And it ain't done happening, you know? So to be able to be one of them strong people that get a chance to survive a situation like that, bro, and continue to go on with life with a smile and
Yeah.
positive attitude,
Yeah.
you helping a lot of people out because everybody going through something.
Yeah.
You may
So
not
that's
believe
just
it, you may not believe it, but
Wow.
like when you speak like and talk about that situation, it really like, and I know we asked you the question before, but that kind of like feels like what it feels like to be a Mountaineer, like, you know, like being strong, smiling through it all. Like when you tell your story, that's really, you know, genuinely what it feels like when I hear you talk about it.
yeah. I think West Virginia, man. Um, made in the mountains. That's what I call. That's how I look at my life.
Yeah.
Because you all don't know this, and Darwin, you don't know this one neither. But while I was playing football in WVU, my father was serving a life sentence in
Mm.
Hazleton, West Virginia, which from the campus, Darwin, it was probably like 45 minutes away from my campus.
Bro, I did not know that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, bro. Yeah. So I mean, my
Never
father
said
was
that.
absent.
That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. They got a little prison up there, bro. Oh man, it's eerie. You go up there and you got to go up around a couple mountains, and it's
Yeah.
just so quiet, like just. But
Yeah.
it's a high profile, maximum security prison, about 45 minutes away, Cook.
That's
So
crazy.
he got sentenced to life when I was 2.
Mm.
So I go my whole life not seeing him. I just get letters, I talk to him on the phone, but that goes so far. So he actually played a role too in me choosing West Virginia because when I chose it, and then I come to WVU and my mom and my grandmother dropped me off to school. I went to the prison. We drove all together, and that was my first time seeing him in person. Well, since 2 years old, which I had no recollection of
Right.
what that was even like. But yeah, I met him for the first time and Cook, I didn't have a car when we was in school. Wish we had that NIL. Wish we had that NIL, Cook.
You would have been Reg
Would have had
Stedman.
a whip the next day.
Lil Rari. Hey, Cook, you got to tell him, we went to school in Morgantown. Everybody kind of got, similar cars. You got some Jeeps, you got some Nissans. Ain't nobody balling too good till you see them Indians roll by. And,
Oh yeah.
you know it when you
For
see a little
sure.
Benz, the freaking Ferrari cutting through, the Corvette. Who is this guy? That's them boys. That's how we would have been cutting with the NIL.
I would have had something crazy. I told I would have had a dunk.
Yeah.
Turquoise peanut butter good.
Something very loud where you
Cook would
say,
have been
yeah, that's
driving a
him.
Hummer, man. Cook would have been driving a Hummer
Oh,
or some
it
shit.
would have been
Like,
crazy. But yeah,
Step.
man. And
But
then on
he
a
let me finish. So
yeah.
yeah.
obviously, I go through the WVU center, 3-4 years we there, and I'm balling, right? So I remember sometimes, Cook, when we had a game there, you see all them deputies, they out there and they green,
Yeah.
they looking like they ready to put you in
Yeah.
cuffs. They just looking
Yeah.
tough.
I know what you're talking about.
But some of them will kind of come whisper to me and be like, hey, man, JB, I'd be up to the prison with JB. Because my dad's name is John. So they call him JB. Like, oh, we blah, blah, blah. JB's a good guy, man. He's a good guy. And I used to be
Yeah.
like,
That make
man,
you
I
sick.
hear y'all. But like, man, y'all got my dog locked up here in the kennel,
Yeah. Yeah,
But
bro. That's a
with
tough one,
me,
bro.
yeah, the guards knew that I was his son. So I'm up there going crazy. They giving him extra honey buns.
Okay.
Hey, he getting
You
that
see the
honey bun.
power and everything.
Nah, they were showing them good love, bro. And it's a federal prison, so they was able to watch like all the games and stuff. And the night I got into my incident, my pops was still like today he's free. Today he actually got out like 2 years ago. I think because he's like up there in age and COVID, a couple different things kicked in, they freed him.
Yeah.
But when the situation happened, the shooting, he was still in there, and he tell me about the story of him getting the news, and guard just kind of telling him like, "Hey, JB, we got certain news, your son, blah blah blah." But he's in stable condition. Seemed like he gonna be okay. I remember Pops was telling me like he had to get up early the next morning, about 5 o'clock, to go to work. But the guard was like, "Man, JB, we know you going through it. You could just stay in your room all day today."
Yeah.
So they used to show him love, bro. And then, like I say, just that Made in the Mountains.
Yeah.
I need to go ahead and drop the book though. Call Made in the
Hey,
Mountains.
when you do, just
Oh, no, that's tough.
go back and
That's
talk to us
tough.
when you do, brother.
But Pop was Made in the Mountains too. He been out there cooling.
That's tough.
He was out there chilling for many years, bro, and I never knew. Like I used to get the little mail, Hazelton, and it's like, where is this place, boy?
Yeah, that's tough.
And now, even to this day, I take him back up there sometimes, cook, and he just be on cloud nine. I tell him, I'm the man, you the man around here.
Yeah, that's what's up, bro. Man, that's a good story, man.
Yeah,
So
bro.
Carlton kept that under wraps that long.
I mean, it ain't like my dog was locked up. Like, it didn't really make me never. I think, well, people like Broad knew, Pat knew.
Yeah.
We used to kind of be sectioned off a little bit, just kind of according to who we live with. But Broderick had a car, and Pat. So certain weekends when we didn't have much to do, I used to load up on my quarters, because you could get quarters and buy honey buns and snacks.
Yeah.
Ask one of them boys, "Hey, let me hold your car, bro. I'm gonna be gone for a few hours," and I just to go on up there.
That's what's up.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah. So he was Made in the Mountains
hold
too. The same mountains that held him captive for so many years. He was freed in them.
That's hella perspective, man. That
Yeah.
perspective is crazy, man.
And then on a lighter note, we have a segment called, it's High Street Legends. So you got to talk about your most memorable night on High Street.
High Street.
I know you don't want to, you can't talk about too much, but just
Yeah. Well,
in the place where you go. Taboo.
Anybody that know High Street, they know. You got countless stories if you've been to High Street, and you've spent time as a student at WVU, because that's the place to be. But my most memorable moment, and I guess I got to put you on the spot, is the Darwin Cook.
Bro, don't do no bullshit. Hey, bro, chill.
Yes, sir.
Chill out, man.
They gotta know. They gotta hear this. It's all good, bro. I ain't gonna make it sound
I'm
too
excited
bad.
for this now. Like, I'm excited.
Dang, man. My boy Cook, freshman year, we some young guys. We just been turned loose by the parents. We looking for the fun. We looking for anything that we could get into. And we had one particular club. What was the name of the club, Darwin?
Taboo, bro.
Taboo. Taboo was a pretty nice club, because for the most part, they played music that we was used to. Whole lot of Travis Scott was going on. Like that little era was lit. But my most memorable moment, you know what? I'm not gonna do you, Darwin.
I'll do it. Do it.
You gotta do it now, bro.
You gotta do it.
Yeah, I gotta get
That's
Darwin.
what I'm saying. He got a lot of them, bro. We used to drive a little bus back to Pierpont.
Big dog, back up. He talking about the Pierpont bus. It's my story. He trying to.
Yeah, he trying to speed through.
He trying to deter me.
We going home, bro.
Yeah,
So,
y'all already going home now. Yeah.
So we freshmen, not supposed to be drinking. We 18 years old, but we in college, so pass it. Pass the Cavassier, pass whatever you got. And I think our freshman year, we used to be on a cheap liquor. I think it was brunettes. I think that might have been. I think that might have been like $10 for the bottle.
if that.
Mhm.
Which lets you know, I mean, in our older years, you know that that's low class, bottom shelf
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cook one night might have had about 2 bottles with a Four Loko
Oh
to
my
go with it.
God.
With a Four Loco to finish it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cook was down there almost in zombie mode down on High Street. And you know what? As I think about it, Cook, I feel like I let you down. Because how did you get back home that night?
Hey, bro, I was outside the club, and then Will Thomas, he played for the basketball team. He picked me up. He just seen me sitting on the curb.
Yeah.
Hey, I was about a hot
Don-
dog man. I was about a hot dog man.
Yeah.
Hot dog man.
Darwin was man, intoxicated out of his mind. I'm surprised he ended up going to jail that night. Because he for sure was supposed to be there for underage drinking.
Oh,
But yeah, man, I just remember coming out the club. I think Cook was he leaning on a pole. I don't know if he thought he was talking to a girl or what was going on. But he just was out of it.
Yeah.
oh,
Boy,
man.
my boy was, what y'all call it, shit face? Yeah, he had it. If I ain't never seen one, he had it.
Yeah.
And again, now I'm thinking about why I ain't, take my dog with me back to dorms, but he probably wasn't going. Hey, Dom,
Oh, that's the night they dragged me
uh,
out the club, bro. I fell asleep on the toilet, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, they dragged me up out of there. They dragged me. I could see Stead and them. They just looking at me like. They
Don't
dragged
let
me
Mike
out the
Joseph
club.
find out what's going on with you come Monday.
Yeah,
Strength coach. Yeah.
yeah.
But on another note, nothing good. Well, it ended up being funny once we saw the results. But one of our teammates, I'm not even gonna say his name, but one of our teammates,
That was
I
funny.
ain't gonna say his name. I ain't gonna say his name. He was an offensive lineman,
Oh
and
man. Funny
yeah, I think his freshman year again, we in a club that was predominantly black. Now we on the campus WVU was predominantly white, but this club here, you had a lot of people that used to come from, all the little small surrounding cities, Fairmont and a couple others. That used to come to Morgantown for the weekend, the club, and it used to be a good old time. Now we got one of our teammates, big old lineman, white guy.
You know he came with me, right?
Huh?
You know he came with me, right?
Yeah, he with his bros, we all clicking, we trying to form a little bond and hang out, and I guess my brother forgot where he was. Darwin hanging with him, and he telling him, man, hey, I'm gonna go over here, maybe get a drink or something. I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
I guess a little situation happened. Maybe this big O-line guy stepped on some shoes. Y'all know how that is. It's like
Yeah.
in the club situation, I guess, depending on who it is, what type of shoes you got on, the person might be looking for an apology. And big dog O-line, so he wasn't, no apologize.
About that, yeah.
So I guess, a couple of bickering went back and forth, and my teammate, he used a racial slur. He throws out the N-word. Ooh, bad mistake. They done blacked his eyes.
Yeah.
So he come back to the dorms. He trying to corral all his brothers. Hey man, this is what happened to me downtown. Now, the camaraderie that we had, had the circumstances been a little different, that he just, had a situation and somebody wanted to beat him up. Us as football players, we coming together, but it's like, okay, where you at, Pat? Oh, where you at? What'd he say? What happened? Oh, you did what? Oh man, yeah, you gotta wear that, bro.
Gotta wear that.
You gotta wear that. Matter of fact, get away for we tint the other eye. Yeah. So those two moments, man. I mean, you have countless moments of stuff that that go down in the books for what you do on High Street, but you know, it's terms of just talking about my teammates. You got my boy Darwin Cook, who was the drunkest person I ever saw.
Man, come on.
And then my teammate who learned the hard way, you know. Whatever you learned in the past, you better leave it there.
Yeah, facts.
You understand? So yeah, those were two good moments, man. Two laughable moments. I wouldn't say good because both moments could have been bad. You, Darwin,
Yeah,
being
for
in
sure.
trouble.
Hey man, I
I feel like that's the beauty of High Street. Like what could or almost did go bad. I feel like that's literally that is High Street and a
Yeah.
bottle.
Like a shitty Vegas.
Shitty Vegas, yeah. That's a great way of putting it.
Hey man, me and Steg could just talk about anything and just start laughing, bro. Like I could just say this shit to him, bro. Look at this shit, bro. Look.
Oh, bro.
Oh,
Y'all don't even know y'all don't even know what that means. Y'all don't even know what that means, but he know what that means, boy.
Yeah, you have to tell them boys definitely off the camera. Yes.
Nah,
Shout out
Yeah,
to
bro.
Tentacles. Shout out to Tentacles.
Well, Stedman, you know, you're more than just a High Street legend, bro. You're a West Virginia legend. You're a Mountaineer legend. You know, this has been definitely an honor, bro. So appreciate you coming on and telling your story,
Sure.
dog.